to bust wide open, and we can't wait. Here's our list of the top 5 most anticipated games at this year's E3.
Stay right where you are.
Kicking things off at number 5 is Resident Evil 6, a survival horror game so frightening it scares the competition.
There's something to remember.
After Resident Evil 5 was blasted by critics for going overboard with co-op elements, this installment aims to get the series back on track. It even has everyone's favorite zombie slayer, Leon Kennedy.
It's sure considering all over again.
Number 4 is none other than Halo 4, the third installment in the franchise left off with Master Chief and Cortana stranded in space.
Here.
This one promises to pick up from there and launch a brand new trilogy. Rising to number 3 is God of War Ascension.
There was a time before Kratos became the monster known as the Ghost of Sparta.
This PS3 exclusive is a prequel to the entire God of War franchise. But don't expect Kratos to be any nicer. He's still the unstoppable killing machine we've all come to know and love. At number 2 is Call of Duty Black Ops 2.
Nice. Surprises.
Yep, no surprise why this one made the list. It's the sequel to one of the top-selling games of all time. In Part 2, the action jumps from the Cold War to the near future. Prepare for plenty of high-tech explosions. And topping our list of most anticipated games we just can't wait for, Assassin's Creed 3. After a couple of mini-sequels, the series moved into a brand new era. This one takes place during the American Revolution, and we're told the gameplay has been reinvented from the ground up.
In the name of liberty, I will fight the enemy.
The battle begins at E3.
I just got word the entire internet agreed.
Absolutely, everybody agrees with this.
Hey, so what we learned this morning is that Microsoft, they're not happy with dominating your gaming experience.
It wants to take over your entire life, starting with your living room.
Xbox, sports, NHL, full screen. It's a shot up the middle, fielded by Gordon. Tom Jackson makes the play at first. Xbox, Monday Night Football. Xbox Switch. Full screen. That's what I'm talking about. Amazing! Also, Microsoft announced a partnership with Nike Plus to monitor all that exercising you're doing, right? You're running in place right now.
Right? Whether or not you do it in front of the Kinect. Yes.
Nike Plus and Kinect for Xbox 360 are bringing together two of the world's largest gaming and athletic communities to redefine personal training at home. Nike Plus Connect to Train, a program completely personalized to you, created by the world's best Nike trainers and coaches, so you and your friends can get athlete fit. Let's go Yes.
All right, let's increase our knowledge attributes.
Please welcome Dan Chu from GamesBeat and Casey Lynch from IGN.
Thank you,
It's crazy. But let's get the ball rolling with Microsoft Smart Glass. I mean, Smart Glass versus the Wii U. Some are saying it's like Ferrari versus a Power Wheels, but we don't know what's under the hood yet, really, for either, do we?
Well, I mean, for Microsoft, what we're talking about is a software solution. Comparing that to a proprietary tablet, I mean, it's two totally separate things. So, I mean, I don't know what you think.
Well, which approach do you think is the smarter one?
So it's tough because we haven't seen Nintendo hasn't given us all the information, right?
Right.
And the thing that Nintendo does have an advantage for is that technology is going to be built in. Like every user will have access to that technology, whereas a lot of people have smartphones and iPads and so on. The Microsoft developers might look at that and say, well, this is still an extra thing we have to program for and account for. It's not necessarily 100% of the Xbox 360 audience, so will they want to support that? But that aside, I think the 360 is pretty cool because it's much more flexible when you can just use your phone when you have a
I mean, do you think? I mean, I worry a little bit about. I worry a little bit about kids looking at that Nintendo tablet and saying, I'd actually just prefer to have an iPad. I mean, do you sort of worry about that kind of perception issue?
Yeah, I think Nintendo already, I'm sure, has. And with this, again, this software-driven solution, anybody that has pretty much any device is going to be able to use it to do what this Nintendo piece of tech does. So, I mean, it's easier. I think it's super accessible, especially for people who already have this kind of stuff. So,
Not that Microsoft is known for the most, accessible user interfaces in the world.
well, we're not quite as bad as Sony sometimes, but I mean, using your iPad to control your TV, that you can already do that with a lot of apps right now. So this is just kind of extending that. And I think it's actually a really smart solution, and it doesn't cost us anything just to try it out.
Okay, well, I want a one-word answer from each of you. Who's going to pull it off better?
Oh,
Microsoft.
Okay.
Wow,
There we go.
sums that one up nicely. The Wii U, it's more of a gaming peripheral, of course, where the Smart Glass, I think what they're demonstrating is, hey, this isn't just for gaming. This extends past that, and I think that's what makes it interesting. But here's, Nintendo's shot at reigniting that core gamer here, the Wii U Pro controller.
AKA the Xbox controller.
Pretty much, yeah. It's a reskinned Xbox controller. Do you think Nintendo is going to cater to the core at all this E3 or in the coming years, or have they just sort of abandoned that for the more casual gamer?
I think you're trying, right? That definitely was the message last E3 that we wanted to take back the hardcore gamers. But the problem with their strategy is so far they're showing us what third-party developers and publishers are going to bring to the table. But those same guys are also making games on Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3. So it's not really differentiating Wii U too much at this point. Another thing that drives me nuts about that controller is I'm not going to have to relearn where my thumbs go because the right analog stick and face buttons are swapped compared to the 360 controller. It's going to be weird because we've been using the 360 controller for so long.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially for people who are very competitive with games like Call of Duty or even Halo. I think just having a totally separate controller is gonna take a lot of adjustment. So I don't know how it's gonna be received.
What do you think Nintendo has to do at its press conference to really sell people on their controller and their new console?
I mean, I think Dan said it. They need to show some games that make sense with that controller, which I don't think is too much to ask. But for Nintendo, maybe. I mean, I don't know if we're going to be playing like a Nintendo first-person shooter that that really utilizes that type of controller. But I don't know what we're going to see from third parties. But pretty much any of the bigger third-party games could conceivably use that controller very well. I think
what we saw with the Wii was, that the Wii comes out, there's an initial interest, there's an initial push from first and third parties, and then third party becomes almost shovelware. That the major titles get a shoddy port where they don't exist at all on the platform. And I think that was a huge misstep for the Wii. Is Nintendo going to right that ship with the Wii U, though? That's the question.
I think that's part of their strategy now because, again, looking at last year's E3, they definitely got a lot of guys, the big players on board, like EA and Ubisoft, Activision. So I think that's really important. And I think what's also important is that they have to show why now the Wii U tablet controller, the gamepad, is going to be different from what Microsoft just showed. So if you remember from last year, they showed that demo where you use like a Wii controller, like a golf club, and then you set the tablet on the floor and it looks like a ball there sitting in his hand. Stuff like that, you're not going to be able to do on the Microsoft version with the glass stuff. So I think if they could show really cool, unique technology for the Wii U, I think then it has a chance.
Well, we thought golf was really fun on the Wii for about 5 minutes, and then we realized that there was no nuance to it, so it didn't really matter. So that's sort of what I worry is it's like another gimmick. We should talk about sports, because Microsoft came out hard on sports. We can now watch ESPN Live. We were already able to watch UFC and, some of the football games. So are people going to abandon their television for the Xbox?
Please don't.
So yeah, yep. I mean, I unsubscribed to your parent company. And I do all my more TV watching online now. So for me, this is very exciting to be able to say, any game I have access to, I could pause it. I could switch between two games. I was already doing that with ESPN 3, with ESPN app. So it's more exciting to me now that there's more channels available.
I mean, it's just another step in the natural progression of us being able to watch all of our content on systems like the Xbox. We're already doing so much of that type of viewing with it. I think a year from now, we're just going to see a crazy amount of more content that'll be on there.
Do you think is Microsoft in the lead? I mean, tying up the sports, in some markets they are true IPTV where you really can watch all of cable through your Xbox. You get that, the interactivity, the second screen apps, plus Nike integration now. They want to be your fitness hub, and their vision was very clear. They spelled it out. They want you to turn on your Xbox in the morning, work out with it, talk to it, watch your TV or movies on it at night. Are they clearly in the lead here when it comes to tying in everything and being that digital media hub?
I mean, I think so, yes, but the real question is all of this stuff what this consumer wants? I mean, sure, we like to watch TV, we like to watch Netflix, NHL and NBA would be great, but I don't know if I'm going to be working out talking to my television anytime soon.
I've tried working out on the Xbox 360. The problem is you're depending on the Kinect, right? And that technology is as awesome as it is, it's not quite there yet. When it misses 1 out of every 10 commands or it doesn't quite hear what you're trying to say, that's a frustrating experience. So I think for that alone, and it doesn't work in every living room, depending on what setup you have, that's the barrier right there.
Yeah, it's almost like they're doubling down on this magic technology, which I think end users could tell them isn't 100% all the time. That might be a misstep.
I was actually hoping that we were going to see a little maybe software or even hardware upgrade to the Kinect. So it was going to be a little bit more sensitive. I was actually a little bit surprised we didn't see that.
Yeah, hopefully that'll come. I don't know if they can do a lot of that through software, through firmware updates, but it definitely needs it because once they can get that down, I think then there'll be a much higher adoption rate.
And there actually are products online right now that will track your fingers and will enable you to do sort of these dream things with the Kinect that you can't do currently.
Yeah, I think the hacking community has come up with better uses for it than some of the game developers that sell that right now, and hopefully those trickle down. Otherwise, I'll be swiping through all my sports and
swiping, and then swiping again.
Yeah, and then yelling at my Xbox.
Yeah.
And then Netflix launches. Thanks, Microsoft. But thank you to you guys. Thanks to Dan Shu and Casey Lynch for joining us. We appreciate it.
We have a treat for you. Halo 4 is kicking off the holy trilogy of the Halo games. I'm going to take a hands-on taste of the first chapter of Halo 3.
Ross Morgan is joined by producer Rob Hill for the world premiere demo of Tron and Sci-Fi's Defiant Twitch. By the way, is the first ever franchise to merge the shooter and MMO genres and gaming and television. What?
It's all coming up right after the break.
70 more.
Don't miss a second of the action on the world's toughest obstacle course. Watch American Ninja Warrior right now on demand.
The Pizza Hut's $10 any carry-out deal. I got our favorite pizzas for $10.
On that thing.
Any means necessary.
To give you just what you want, we created the $10 any carry-out deal. That's any pizza for $10. Pizza Hut. Make it great.
This is Kevin.
Crispy, crunchy, peanut buttery Butterfinger.
Nobody's going to lay a finger on my Butterfinger.
You guys are idiots. My husband and I started a business together. We wanted an easier way to accept credit cards. So we got GoPayment. I went to freegopayment.com and got a free card reader that worked with my smartphone. We just attach it, swipe the customer's card, and let them sign with their finger. Then we email the receipt. Business was booming during the summer. So we decided to open a second location. We grabbed our GoPayment and set out for ice cream weather. As the temperature rose, so did our sales. The free card reader worked with our tablet too. And we quickly discovered we were the only ones using GoPayment. There's no commitment, no monthly fees, the card reader was free, and so is the app. We just pay a small fee per swipe. We can go where our customers are, and everywhere in between. And the best part is, now we never miss a sale. or a heat wave.
Visit FreeBillPayment.com today to get your free hardware and start accepting credit cards.
Another cup of coffee. How long is this one gonna last? 45 minutes? An hour? Well, 5-hour energy lasts a whole lot of hours. Take one in the afternoon and you'll feel alert and energized till the cows come home. And it's packed with B vitamins and nutrients to make it last. So, what's it gonna be, partner?
5-hour energy.
Wise choice. 5 hours.